Hey there, guys. I am going to clean some chickens. Look at this tiny little thing. I believe it's made of wood. It's so light. Anyway, I went ahead and got all my chickens together on the table. I figure it's easier for me, and maybe you all would enjoy seeing most of them collected in one spot. It's very much like fall to me when I see them all together like this. But if you haven't noticed, I'm very drawn to fall colors. Although I believe the body of this chicken is kind of a gray blue. We'll see once we get some of the dirt off. Okay, that one's done. Let's move on to the other little tiny guy. And this one, among others, kind of sit on the kitchen counter and it gets moved around a lot. Sometimes it's on the top of the sugar container. Sometimes it's on top of the toaster. Sometimes I'll put it on the top of a candle when it's closed. She goes everywhere because he's so tiny and mobile. That's definitely a resin. It's a small little resin chicken. I like it. Alright. See this one. These are ceramic. You can mostly tell ceramic from resin by how it feels and how heavy it is. But the other way to tell is the way that the glaze and the coloring on the top, on the surface of a chicken looks, you know. So, we're just gonna clean this up with the simple paper towel and some Windex. It's really actually the easiest way for me to do this. Are those colors rich? See, I'm not typically drawn to these 1950s, 1960s chickens, but it's the coloring. I like those colors. This one, with its eggs in the wheelbarrow, it's all wood. I blew out the eggs. You just poke holes, you know, at the end of it with a not toothpick, an ice pick. Or you could use a toothpick, I guess you could. Anyway, you gotta poke something in there and break open the yolk. And that makes it easier to, you know, blow it all out the end. That's very difficult to do. Well, anyway, I had this guy with this, what chicken? There's a chicken on the table here that I had. Oh, I remember. Now, I'm not going to point at it, but you spot that big, rusty, life-size chicken in the very back of the table. Now, you've seen in other videos how I keep that outside on my porch, and sometimes it tricks people, tricks me sometimes. I think, there's a little chicken out there. Anyways, at one point before I started keeping it outside, I had this wheelbarrow guy sitting right behind the big chicken, so it looked like he was catching her eggs as she laid them. I don't know why, but it was such a funny conversation piece to me. It's just like, obviously, when you look at this chicken, and it's a guy, it's like, rooster, pushing a wheelbarrow, with eggs in it. Right behind the bum of a chicken. So the story told itself just by looking at the display. It's so funny. So funny. Yeah, so roosters fertilize, hens lay the eggs. But I don't keep them there anymore. These little rabbits. I got these little rabbits because I just thought they were so cute. Oh, I just love these guys. I would so be a rabbit and bunny collector in a heartbeat. I would. All my favorite little critters. Kittens, too, you know. But I have got to have some self-control. And so, chickens are really what I love the most. And I thought, well, that's what I collect because I'm most drawn to them. But you know, around Easter time, oh my gosh, I could just go nuts buying bunnies. Bunny rabbits. So cute. I keep them out in my woodland room, my bedroom. And there's my little kittens. See, I don't normally buy cats either. But when I saw these two, I was just like, what? I've got to have that. I mean, sometimes Goodwill sells things for so cheap. Now, these are ceramic. They're very delicate. But they're a thin, very thin. I suppose they could be acrylic, but I don't think so. I think there's a clay. That this is an acrylic that is meant to look like wood. And so it's, you know, the antiquity of it in its appearance, because it is not really an antique. But that's what drew me to this one. I'm not normally attracted to black. It's not so much. But there was something about it, you know. Those colors. I don't know. You just never know what's going to hit you, you know. This one, I've had this for quite some time. It came with me from Montana, and I believe that's where I got it originally. But it's very exaggerated and almost cartoonish, you know. But definitely ceramic with glazed coating on it, you know. It's so round and funny. I don't know, you know. Just grabbed me. Had to have it. Sometimes when a chicken fluffs its feathers out, it looks like this. So it has a realistic look at the same time as it has a cartoonish look, you know. Both going on at the same time. But just gorgeous colors. This one's been sitting close to the stove, so I think it was kind of dirty on top. Yeah. Get under the beak, but I don't think I need to clean on underneath it. Let's see. Now this, such an unusual piece. My husband and I picked this out together. think we were at a thrift shop. No, antique store. And he's the one who spotted it. He was just like, look at that. That is so unusual. Like, oh my gosh, good eye, Jerry. I love it. I mean, it kind of looks like an antique. Like it might have been part of an advertisement for something once upon a time. I mean, why would somebody make a chicken be riding a bicycle? But we've seen pictures and depictions of chickens doing all kinds of things. But something about it, you know? The texture and the finish on it is very antique looking. I was so glad my husband picked that out. Okay, this is what I call my pedestal chicken. I guess that's kind of apropos since I put chickens on a pedestal. I love my chickens. They're so cute, but at the same time, and this is resin, by the way. Resin that is formed and carved to look like wood. I would prefer that all my chickens were made of wood, but when they make them like this, so convincingly wood looking, I'll take it. It's like, look, see, if you haven't noticed, I just get excited about these colors. This red, green, and gold. And it's just so in keeping with what I decorate with mostly. Red, gold, and green are my favorite colors to decorate with. I also really like burgundy, and I went through a big phase for a while where I was decorating everything with burgundy. Might have been influenced, you know, by the 80s when they had pink and blue. Everything in the country style was pink and blue, but it didn't jive with me at the time. But I do love burgundy. And you see now this is wooden. This is wood. I see this style quite a bit in gift shops. But I never usually buy them new because well, I remember selling them in my gift shop, these kinds of chickens. And they're quite costly, brand new. They're like $25. And some, depending on the size, were even more. But I come across them secondhand every now and then. I grab it. It's like, ooh, hey, look at this. And something about the colors and the formation of this one in particular. Yeah. Not always drawn to black, but oftentimes, depending on what the combination is, you know. Yeah, I love that one. I'll probably say that about all of them because I love all of them. I love my chickens. And I'll probably say that a few times too. I miss my real chickens. Yeah, some of these are from them, and some of these are wooden, and some of these are ceramic, And some of these, see, like this one is a paper mache type of egg. And I mean, I've got them from everywhere and I've just collected them. But it was really interesting when I went to Tractor Supply one day. And I found what they call, what did they call them? I cannot think of the word for it, but they were fake eggs that looked so real. And you were supposed to put it in with the hens to make them want to lay eggs. Something about them being in the nest would induce them to lay their own. So, oh, by the way, this this thing's made of wood, and it is the coolest. I think it might be old, but I have no guarantee, and I'm no snob. And if you're somebody who prefers things to be authentically old, that doesn't make you a snob, but I'm just saying I don't care that much whether it's authentically old, but I do love it if it's old and it looks old. Anyway, what I was going to say is that I had put those fake eggs out there in the nests, and a couple of times my husband tried to collect them. He's cool. I don't know, he's just being careful. He does them, not to break them. It's like, well, the thing is that they got a little messy along with the other eggs because the chickens were laying eggs. And so you could hardly tell the difference. The only way I knew was even the weight was the same of those fake eggs. How could I tell? I just knew. I knew, but he didn't. Not at first. Isn't that pretty though? I absolutely love this rooster. And I thought for some reason it was appropriate to display eggs in it. Even though roosters don't lay eggs, he could be like rooster protector of the hen's eggs. I don't know. My chivalrous rooster. But it would be fun sometime. I just wish I had a really huge house. I have a big house, but it's not huge. And it'd be fun to be able to collect more chickens and just be able to bring this one out sometimes as a, like, put a napkin in it and serve the rolls. Serve the rolls in it at dinner time. That'd be kind of cute. Or keep candy in it at Christmas time. I don't know. But I never do it. I always just leave the eggs in it and dust them off every once in a while. And there we go. Okay, what chicken do we want to do? This set is interesting. It's been broken once and I had to glue it back together. I think I dropped it. I did, I dropped it. And it is a very delicate acrylic. It is not ceramic or wood, even though it's made to look a bit like either one, I suppose. But even though this was kind of an inexpensive little item, can say why. I love it. I love it. And a lot of these chickens reside on top of my refrigerator. I built, or call that dirty. Wow. I have a chicken feeder on top of the refrigerator. You know, those, a real one. It's a real one that somebody had painted red for decoration. So that's on top of the refrigerator, and I have a bunch of different chickens hanging around it and on some straw, and so it looks like a little barnyard, chicken yard on top of my refrigerator. And these couple I have sitting closer to the feeder normally. I'm not sure how all of this is going to go back, but we'll see. Sweet. This one, I believe it's a napkin holder, but I don't use it that way. Although maybe I should. But you can see that there's room for napkins in between the design in the back and then the rooster in the front. And they're sitting on a book. Now, if you think about realism, I'm sorry folks, but books don't have plants growing out the back of them. And roosters don't sit on top of books. But for some reason, the look of them together just so appealed to me, and I have it hanging on a wood plaque in my bedroom. So it's flush against, the plant part is flush against that plaque. Boy, is it dirty though. This has been not washed for a long time. I imagine some might think that it's a bookend, but it is not. It is most definitely made to keep napkins in and to slide behind the rooster and between the plant. It'd be fun. I've always wanted one of those, like a kitchen booth that's just like a diner. Oh my gosh. I would love to have a booth. I have always wanted like a breakfast nook. And then you could keep that against the wall. Here's another one of my smalls. I keep this on top of the microwave most of the time. And I liked how realistic seeming the colors were. But also something about the position that they have the rooster sitting, standing, and this one is so simple. It's just basically two colors with some shading, you know, resin. This is resin. Get this. This is one of those, and I just discovered this like a few years ago. maybe actually a little longer than that, where you actually can hang them over the edge of a shelf. And their little front claws are formed to be looking over the edge of a counter. That's so clever, look at that. Same. So, I try to keep them where they're, well, this one isn't the one with the claws. It looks like it, but it's not. He can go flat anywhere he wants. But look at that gold on his, on his neck. That is so gorgeous. I don't think I've ever seen a chicken that really looks like this, but he's so beautiful. Red, gold, and green, didn't I say? Mm-hmm. Red, gold, and green. Now, I'll show you the other one that has the feet, claw-like feet that hang over the edge. I believe I have one in here. This one's just flat. I like it. Alright, another chicken on a pedestal. This one just something about the pedestal. I don't know, but I have this one in my living room typically because even though it's probably an inexpensive Chinese-made work of art, it is still a work of art to me. The way that it looks, the pedestal looks more substantial, regal, historic. Well, maybe you know what I'm talking about. It doesn't look cartoonish. It looks like it could be bronze, you know. Like it had a little more care put into it. The colors of the rooster look much more realistic, I would say. I think. So I just love this. I think it is living room worthy because it doesn't look so much like a cartoon. At one point, I didn't think I was going to let, chickens into my living room. I wanted it to be the finer looking room with the finer items, and after a while the chickens started creeping into the living room, and before you know it they started creeping into the bedroom, and oh my gosh, now they're in the bathroom too. Okay, here's the one I was talking about, and I'll show you in a sec. But she had this, I say she, it's a rooster, but it has the little claws that hang over the edge of a shelf. It's a shelf hanger, as opposed to a cliffhanger. A cliffhanger. Okay, yeah, so it has similar coloring to that other chicken that I thought was a shelf hanger. But its tail is a bit more rich, bit more. But it's got that red, golden, green, and its tail feathers are a little more shiny and darker blue. See there? See his little, not his butt. it's funny, roosters actually are so much more beautiful than hens, usually. Just because of their comb on the top of their head, I think, they just look a little more regal. Their plumage is prettier. See there? Okay, see? There's a little shelf edge. These are the crowing roosters made of wrought iron. And I really liked them. I found one the first time and I went, ooh, look how old-fashioned and rustic this is. And I thought it was so original. There was only one sitting there. I found out later that they are a dime a dozen and they're everywhere. And I don't know why. It's like, okay, well, that's right. Just love them. I really just love them, and I usually try to put them in a place where they look like a shadow. See, one has a much shinier coat of black on it, but it has the basic, there's some slight variations, but it has the basic size and shape, I like them. I like them a lot. This one I like better because I don't like it so shiny. If I do come across another one of these that is more of a matte color, I'll probably buy it and put the shiny one somewhere else away from the grouping, Maybe it'll be an outdoor chicken. But it's good as a sort of a silhouette figure to make it look like it's a shadow. Yeah, it's dirty. They're all dirty. I'm getting so much stuff off of these paper towels, and I'm using a lot of paper towel. I might, if it wasn't for making a video, I would probably use a washcloth normally. See the difference? This is a heavy acrylic that is made to look like wood. Made to look like the pedestal type that I have that are made of wood. And something about the simplicity of the white really appealed to me. Chunky, like somebody carved it out of a block of wood. Very basic. Who in the world can say why I chose this one? It's these darker, richer colors that are muted. Definitely. I've been saying acrylic, and I think I might be meaning to say resin. And I'm not sure if there's a difference between acrylic and resin. Possibly. But this one is not real heavy, like the very dark golden shelf sitters I was showing you earlier. This one is made of the same material, but I believe it's hollow. I mean, any one of these chickens could, I could tell y'all that all of them are made of wood. And you might not know any better. be able to say that's not true just by looking at it. But I don't have to have just wood. Sometimes the acrylic or resin chickens are, because of the material, it's allowed to get more intricate. I imagine someone somewhere has made or carved a rooster like this that was super detailed, possibly. But I just loved the dark, it just looked so dark and rich. I just love it. He goes back up on the refrigerator too. Now this one is ceramic for sure, but it's hollow. And it looks life-size to me. And it looks like a hen. And I wanted one that looked like a hen because I had, at one point, I don't anymore, but I had this one sitting in some straw in a basket with some eggs, so it looked like a setting for, oh my goodness, I guess, this is a terrible confession, but I would really love to be able to keep a chicken as a pet. And I would love to be able to hold a chicken, and if they weren't so ungodly, messy, dirty, toxic poop, I would love to keep a chicken in the house. This one is my giant porch sitter. He sits out on my front porch, so he's going to be especially dirty. Let's see how we can do with him. Let me take a little extra Windex there. I hope I don't have to put him under the sink or run a hose on him. I might be able to get him decently clean here. But I was going to tell you a little story of how my stepdad, my biological father passed away and my mom remarried a long time ago. And when she remarried, she married a man who had what you call aviary, some kind of aviary. I don't remember the name of it, but it was a disease that he got from birds. And we knew that he had this thing. It's, I guess, if you get bird poop toxins in your bloodstream somehow, this poison toxin gets in your system, and so he was always having troubles with his hand, swelling up and certain things going wrong with him. And then in later years, shortly before my mother passed away, my stepdad actually had to have his arm amputated right before the elbow. And it was amazing to watch this man's courage as he learned to live without one of his hands and to go on with life like usual. He could no longer play the guitar. But he still kept on with his woodworking, and I mean, he's such an active man. Anyway, I tell you that story because there is such a thing, something like aviary flu or something like that. You can Google it and find out how it happens, but you definitely want to, and I think it's the reason why we wash our eggs in the USA. Many of you have said that you don't wash your eggs so you don't have to keep them in the refrigerator and they last longer, but I do not want any bird poop sitting around my house. Yeah, I don't know why. And they say the same thing about bat guano, bat poop. You don't want to get exposed to that either. So when my husband cleaned it out of our attic, I mean feet deep of bat guano in our attic, I definitely had him wearing every kind of protective. Well, he chose to too, but I had told him about my stepdad, and he was very wary, like he should be. Now this chicken is a total funny guy. He's made of wood, and he's very cartoonish, but why did I fall in love with it? I think it's because it's that gorgeous banana yellow, and I mean, he looks like a cross between a chicken and a duck with those big old feet. He just was such a comical character to me, and I love it. Love it. All of my chickens. I love all my chickens. Those big brown feet. It's not realistic at all. It's cute though. This is wood. It's one of those little corner type that you're supposed to keep on the floor, I think, but you know, it fits into a corner, and you can tell by the shape of the back. Oh, and I'll show you that in a second after I get there, but I just love the rusticness. I see we sold chickens like this in, boy, he's dusty, in my gift shop. Years ago I sold a lot of these, which is where I kind of discovered them in the first place. Lots of dust and straw stuff on him. But you can see he's kind of rounded. The outside part here is very round, so he fits into a corner. He's so big, I've got to turn him on his side and get him from the other direction. Besides my metal one at the back, I'm not gonna try to wash him. I'll just brush him later, but I thought he was such a pretty backdrop. Anyway, apart from that one, this is the biggest chicken I've got. No, the one I just did from the front porch, that's the biggest one I've got. Well, I don't know. This one rivals that one. And this one's pretty tall. But the other one is resin, and so it stays outside. And this one is wood, so I don't want to leave it out. He's my sentinel chicken for the stairway. Isn't that neat? He's so pretty. He's so pretty. I really do like hens too, though. I actually... oh, well, gosh. I miss my chickens. I just don't want to have any more right now because it prevents travel, and yeah, I don't know. Maybe in the future. I love this one. This one is wood also. And his wings are attached by a string, so they're floppy. And I just love that because the sound, you know, the sound of those wings hitting on the body of it. And of course there's the red, gold, and green combination that I just adore. So this one, you know, being kind of cartoonish, I just, and yet, I don't mean cartoons like typical cartoons, but like basic. Phew, it's dirty. Gosh, all these tickets are so dirty. I'm not one of those people that goes around dusting all the time. I will wait until they are good and dirty. This one is so beautiful. Yeah, he looks like a cartoon. He looks like, this actually looks like a him a little bit, and squawking. This one's she's so upset. But I have him on top of the Hoosier. Him, her. What do you think? Is that a rooster or a hen? And I got him locally in the last couple of years. That expression. I love those two beautiful colors, gold and red together. Isn't that gorgeous? Love that. This is my funny chicken gourd. It's made from a gourd. Now this is not my style at all. I would never normally buy a chicken like this because it is so cartoon and bright. But you know how sometimes you just gotta have something because it's so bright. Yeah, I love yellow. And this is a wooden one, a wooden pedestal. I believe it's one of those ones that goes in the corner. Once again, it's rounded on one side and, you know, just kind of curved inward. Put it on a stairway, or you could put it in a shelf corner. And mostly just black and tan and black beige and red crown. And it's not my favorite, but I still love it because it just looks so rustic. Alright, that's it, guys. Kitty cat. Night night, kitties. Thank you for joining me.